hey, the new Call of Duty is out. Okay. Great. And with that comes a bunch of grown men thinking, oh hey, I could have been in the military, and then they look down and realize that maybe they couldn't have been.
Because they're
a gamer. Every new Call of Duty game comes with a new slew of complaints, from there isn't a red dot ping on the mini-map to maybe killing hordes and hordes of innocent human beings isn't a good evening hobby. But forget that, look at this cool anime
wow.
skin. Leading the charge this year is one core stifle that all of the big COD personalities are claiming is the end of Call of Duty. That stifle is skill-based matchmaking. So let's talk about that. About skill-based matchmaking. It was what I just said. Before delving in on whether or not it should exist, we must first examine what it is and why it does exist. Skill-based matchmaking is defining the player parameters of a match based on the skill of the players within. And that definition was worse at explaining it than its own title. It is simply being put into games with players of a skill akin to your own. If you are good, then you play good players, and if you are bad, then you play bad players. And it is a system implemented to both ease the learning curve for new players and a system that allows bad players to still have fun. Hearing about it sounds like a unanimous win, as everyone involved is on a level playing field, so why are people so angry about its inclusion? Skill issue. No, I'm just kidding. It was just a joke. That's just a joke. Most of the common discourse around SBMM is done by good players complaining that they can't dunk on bad players. I don't need to explain why this is a stupid take, but I'm still going to. That's stupid! Making a game fair isn't a cause for concern, and skill-based matchmaking does just that, so hating it because it forces you to play in a field of your own is just absurd. But there are other problems that actually make the system questionable in quality. In Fortnite, we see skill-based matchmaking implemented right from the start, based more in playtime than in actual skill, meaning that right when you start playing the game, you encounter the game's brain-dead AI, and begin to build a false sense of confidence in your skill as you easily eliminate them. It is a frustrating wake-up call when you are lured into the ease of these bots, and then real players show up and start making mincemeat of you. I'm getting tilted at Tilted Towers. Cringe. This quote-unquote easing in process often turns players away more than it retains them, even if bots aren't at the basis of it. But for players who do make it through this transitionary frustration, there is another problem created by skill-based matchmaking, and it is one that persists through all skills and experience levels. It is a problem with perceived stagnation. In games where skill-based matchmaking exists, it is nearly impossible to ever feel like you are improving as a player, since the game improves alongside you. The better you become, the better your opponents become. And in public matches, there is no indication on what difficulty level you are playing against. It can feel like a repetitive slog, as repeated success maintains an arm's length at all times. So, should SBMM exist? Many would definitively say no, and that it should be relegated to ranked modes which solve both of the core problems I listed before. In ranked modes, you are able to measure your progress and prepare for swings in difficulty. The climb feels engaging and rewarding, but being forced to play in a competitive space would just make a game more sweaty and toxic, pushing away a lot of new players in the process. I think that skill-based matchmaking should be in most multiplayer video games. I think that it enhances more than it detracts, and I think without it I would have missed out on the enjoyment found in games like Overwatch and Apex, which I joined at very late stages in their life cycles. All of this said, I do think it should be more varied in its approach, placing players in games with opponents who may be better and may be worse instead of the exact same. Skill-based matchmaking is a system worth keeping in multiplayer video games. It makes games more fun for people who don't have infinite time to improve and would rather just hop on once a week or so. I hope to see this system maintained in multiplayer video games, as I believe it enhances our gaming experiences.